Leo and Marcus were like two peas in a pod, always together, always laughing. They weren't just friends. They were best friends, the kind who knew what the other was thinking without saying a word. Their bond was extra special because they shared a big love for soccer. They played on the same local team, the Green Dragons, and have been kicking a ball around together since they were tiny tots. Every Saturday, rain or shine, they'd be on the dusty field, their bright green jerseys a blur as they chased the ball. Leo was a speedy forward, quick on his feet, and always ready to score. Marcus, on the other hand, was a clever midfielder, able to see the whole field and pass the ball perfectly to his teammates. They made a great team, not just because they were good players, but because they trusted each other completely. Their friendship wasn't just on the field, though. It spilled over into everything they did. After school, you'd often find them at the park, practicing their moves or just talking about their day. They'd share secrets, crack jokes, and sometimes just sit in comfortable silence, enjoying each other's company. They knew each other's favorite snacks, their silliest fears, and their biggest dreams. Leo admired Marcus's easygoing nature and how he could always make everyone smile. Marcus looked up to Leo's determination and how he never gave up, even when things were tough. They pushed each other to be better, both on the field and off. Their coach often said they were the heart of the Green Dragons, bringing energy and cheer to every practice and game. Everyone on the team knew that if you saw Leo, Marcus wasn't far behind, and vice versa. They were a package deal, a duo that seemed unbreakable. This particular Saturday was no different. The sun shone bright, making the grass gleam as the Green Dragons gathered for practice. Coach Miller, a kind but firm man, blew his whistle, signaling the start. Energy buzzed through the air. Leo and Marcus jogged side by side, warming up their legs, their laughter echoing across the field. First came the drills. They practiced passing, their feet tapping the ball back and forth with speed and accuracy. Marcus, with his keen eye, would often call out to Leo, "Over here, Leo," and then send a perfect pass right to his foot. Leo would then weave through cones, dribbling the ball like it was glued to his shoe, his focus sharp. Next, they worked on shooting. Leo's powerful kicks sent the ball flying towards the net, often finding its mark with a satisfying thud. Marcus cheered him on, even when his own shots went wide. "Good try, Marcus." Leo would shout back, a big grin on his face. There was a friendly competition between them, a playful challenge to outdo each other, but it was always wrapped in encouragement and high fives. Then came the scrimmage, the best part of practice for most of the team. It was a mini-game where everyone got to show off their skills. Leo and Marcus were, of course, on the same team. They moved together like a well-oiled machine. Leo would dash forward, Marcus right behind him, ready to steal the ball if an opponent got too close. Marcus would set up amazing plays, passing the ball to Leo at just the right moment for a clear shot. Once, Marcus stole the ball from an opposing player with a clever move, then quickly passed it to Leo. Leo took off, a blur of green, and scored a fantastic goal. They high-fived, their faces beaming with pride. "Great assist, Marcus," Leo yelled. "Awesome finish, Leo," Marcus replied, a wide smile lighting up his face. Their teamwork was a joy to watch, a perfect mix of their individual talents and their strong bond. Practice was hard work, but with Leo and Marcus, it was always a blast. As Coach Miller blew his whistle one last time, signaling the end of practice, a collective sigh of relief and satisfaction swept across the field. The Green Dragons, tired but happy, jogged towards the locker room. Their jerseys, once bright green, were now smudged with dirt and sweat, telling tales of a hard-fought practice. The air, which had been filled with shouts and the thud of the ball, now held the softer sounds of tired footsteps and happy chatter. Inside the locker room, the energy shifted. The loud roars of the field gave way to a more relaxed hum. The familiar smell of old socks, liniment, and damp towels filled the air. Teammates peeled off their sweaty jerseys, tossing them into laundry bags, and began to cool down. Some sat on benches, catching their breath, while others headed straight for the showers. Leo and Marcus, still buzzing from their goal, found their usual spots next to each other. "Man, that was a tough one today," said David, another teammate, wiping sweat from his brow. Yeah, but we totally crushed it, Marcus piped up, his voice full of his usual playful energy. He had a way of making everyone feel good, even after tiring practice. He was known for his jokes and funny observations, always ready to lighten the mood. As he untied his cleats, Marcus glanced over at Tom, who was struggling to pull off a stubborn shin guard. Hey, Tom, Marcus began with a mischievous twinkle in his eye. Did you know your shin guard is trying to run away from your leg? It probably heard about your terrible shot earlier. A ripple of laughter went through the locker room. Tom playfully rolled his eyes, but a smile tugged at his lips. Very funny, Marcus, he retorted, finally yanking off the guard. Marcus's laughter was infectious, making even the most tired players crack a smile. Leo watched him, a grin on his face, enjoying Marcus's easy humor. This was Marcus, always the jester, always making the moments after practice as fun as the game itself. Marcus was on a roll. After his jab at Tom, he turned his attention to Alex, who was trying to untangle a knot in his shoelaces. Hey, Alex, Marcus said, leaning closer with a mock-serious face. It looks like your shoelaces are having a secret meeting and decided not to let you go home. Maybe they're planning a sleepover in your shoe. Alex burst out laughing, dropping his shoe. Oh, Marcus, you're impossible, he chuckled, but he couldn't hide his amusement. Even Coach Miller, who was packing up some equipment nearby, let out a small laugh, shaking his head at Marcus's antics. Leo, sitting beside Marcus, found himself laughing the hardest. Marcus's jokes were never mean-spirited. They were always light and silly, meant to make everyone feel good. He had a knack for finding humor in everyday things, turning a simple locker room moment into a stand-up comedy show. Leo loved this about Marcus. It was one of the many reasons they were such good friends. And what about you, Leo? Marcus teased, turning his attention to his best friend. Did you see how fast you ran today? I think you might have accidentally turned into a cheetah for a few seconds there. You almost left your own shadow behind. Leo giggled, nudging Marcus playfully with his elbow. You're just jealous because you can't run that fast, he shot back, a wide grin stretching across his face. Me jealous? Never, Marcus declared, putting a hand over his heart in a dramatic way. I'm just saying, if you ever lose your way, just follow your shadow. It'll be a few blocks behind you. More laughter filled the locker room. The tired players felt their spirits lift, their aches and pains fading a little with each chuckle. Marcus's jokes were like a special kind of medicine, making everyone feel lighter and happier. Leo watched Marcus, his heart feeling warm. Marcus was truly special, always bringing joy wherever he went. Leo felt lucky to have him as a friend. As Marcus finished his joke about Leo's speedy shadow, his big, bright smile lingered for a moment longer than usual. His eyes, usually sparkling with mischief, held a softer, deeper look as they met Leo's. It was just for a second, a fleeting glance, but it was enough to make Leo pause. This wasn't the usual Marcus smile, the one that meant he was about to make a silly face or tell another funny story. This was something different. It was a gentle smile, almost shy, and his eyes seemed to hold a warmth that Leo hadn't really noticed before. It wasn't the playful glint he was so used to seeing. It was something quieter, more thoughtful. Leo felt a little flutter in his chest, a feeling he couldn't quite name. He looked at Marcus, really looked at him, and saw past the jokes and the laughter. He saw a kindness there, a quiet understanding that seemed to reach out to him. Marcus's gaze didn't feel like a joke at all. It felt meaningful. It was a small moment, but it felt big to Leo. He'd known Marcus forever, known every silly sound he made, every funny face. But in that lingering smile and deep look, Leo saw something new, like finding a hidden door in a house you'd lived in your whole life. It made him curious. What was that look about? What did it mean? The locker room noise faded a little for Leo as he thought about it. He felt a blush creep up his neck. This was more than just his best friend being funny. This was something else. A new feeling, like a tiny spark, had just lit up inside him, making him wonder about Marcus in a way he never had before. It wasn't just friendship anymore. It was a new, exciting question mark. The small spark that had ignited in Leo's chest began to grow warmer, spreading a new kind of feeling through him. It wasn't just the warmth of friendship, which he knew so well. This felt different, like a soft tickle of excitement mixed with a bit of wonder. He had always thought of Marcus as his best friend, his buddy, his teammate. Their friendship was like a comfy old blanket, familiar and safe. But now, it felt like someone had woven a new, shiny thread into that blanket. Leo found himself looking at Marcus in a fresh way. He noticed the way Marcus's hair fell across his forehead, the slight crinkle at the corner of his eyes when he truly smiled, and the way he always chewed on his lip when he was thinking hard. These were things he had seen 100 times, but now they seemed new, more important. He wasn't just seeing Marcus the funny friend. He was seeing Marcus the person, full of little details he suddenly wanted to know more about. His mind started to ask questions that had never popped up before. What was Marcus really thinking when he looked at him like that? Did Marcus feel anything different too? Leo usually knew everything about Marcus, or so he thought. But this new feeling, this quiet curiosity, made him realize there might be parts of Marcus he hadn't explored yet, like a secret level in a video game he thought he'd mastered. The easy, simple feeling of just being friends was changing. It wasn't gone, not at all, but something new was being added to it. It was like his friendship with Marcus was growing, stretching into a new shape. Leo felt a little shy about this new feeling, a little nervous, but mostly he felt excited. He wanted to understand this new part of their connection, to see where this fresh curiosity would lead them. It was a sweet, gentle shift, turning the familiar into something wonderfully unknown. As the last echoes of laughter faded, the other green dragons slowly started to leave the locker room. David headed out, calling, "See you Monday, guys." Tom followed, still grumbling playfully about his runaway shin guard. Alex, with his shoelaces finally untangled, waved goodbye. One by one, the familiar faces disappeared, their voices growing fainter down the hall. The loud clatter of cleats and bags gave way to a quieter hum. Soon, only Leo and Marcus remained. The locker room, which moments ago had been buzzing with life, now felt bigger, more still. The air seemed to hold a different kind of quiet, not empty, but full of unspoken thoughts. The damp towels and lingering smell of sweat were still there, but without the noise of the team, everything felt calmer, softer. Leo looked around. The benches were empty, the lockers shut. It was just him and Marcus. This wasn't unusual. They often stayed a little later, talking or just taking their time. But today, with Leo's new feelings bubbling inside him, the quiet felt different. It felt important. Marcus, who had been humming a little tune as he put his gear into his bag, suddenly stopped. He looked up, his eyes meeting Leo's in the mirror above the bench. The playful sparkle was gone, replaced by that softer, deeper look Leo had noticed before. The quiet between them wasn't awkward. It was comfortable, but also held a new kind of tension, like a string pulled tight, but not breaking. For a brief moment, neither of them spoke. The silence stretched, filled with the soft rustle of Marcus closing his bag and the distant sound of a car passing outside. Leo's heart beat a little faster. He wondered if Marcus felt the change in the air too, if he knew that something new was stirring between them. It was a moment of calm, a pause, letting the new feelings settle in Leo's heart before anything else happened. The quiet in the locker room felt like a warm blanket wrapping around Leo and Marcus. Then Marcus broke the silence, his voice soft, almost a whisper, different from his usual boisterous tones. "You know," he said, looking at Leo, "you really nailed that shot today. It was perfect." It was a simple compliment, something they said to each other all the time after a good play. But the way Marcus said it, with that lingering, gentle look in his eyes, made it feel like much more. It wasn't just about soccer. It was about them. It was about the teamwork, the trust, the knowing glance that let Leo know Marcus would send the ball his way. "Thanks," Leo replied, his voice a little shaky, surprised by the new feeling bubbling up inside him. "Your pass was even better. You always know where I'm going to be." Marcus smiled, that soft, knowing smile again. "Yeah," he said quietly, "I do." He zipped up his bag, then picked it up. He didn't look away from Leo's eyes. "We make a pretty good team, don't we, Leo?" "The best," Leo agreed, a warm feeling spreading through his chest, a mix of happiness and that new, exciting curiosity. It wasn't just a friendly comment. It felt like a quiet promise, a gentle reminder of all the shared moments that built their bond. It was as if Marcus was saying, "I see you, and I value you, more than just a teammate." Marcus's simple words, combined with his soft gaze, felt like a secret message only for Leo. It made Leo's heart beat a little faster. He had always known they were a good team on the field, but Marcus's words now seemed to speak to something deeper, something about their connection off the field too. Leo found himself wondering about that Marcus spoke of. What did it truly mean to Marcus? This brief exchange made Leo ponder his feelings even more, strengthening that new sense of wonder and curiosity about his best friend. After Marcus left the locker room, giving a final soft smile over his shoulder, Leo took a deep breath. The locker room was truly empty now, but it felt full of the quiet echoes of Marcus's words and that special look. Leo picked up his own bag, his mind swirling with thoughts. As he stepped out into the bright afternoon sun, the world seemed a little different. Walking home, the familiar path felt new. Each step was a chance for Leo to think about everything that had just happened. He thought about all the years he and Marcus had been friends, playing soccer, sharing snacks, and telling each other everything. Their friendship had always been so easy, like breathing. He knew Marcus like the back of his hand, or so he thought. But today, that easy friendship had taken a new turn. It was like a path he thought he knew perfectly had suddenly shown a fork in the road. Marcus's lingering smile, the deep look in his eyes, and his simple words about them being a good team, they all felt like pieces of a puzzle Leo was just starting to put together. He replayed the moments in his head. Marcus's gentle teasing, the way his laughter filled the room, and then that quiet, meaningful look. It wasn't just friendship anymore, not exactly. It was something more, something that made his heart flutter and his cheeks feel warm. He felt a mix of excitement and a little bit of fear, like standing at the edge of a diving board for the first time. What did it all mean? Was Marcus feeling something similar? Or was Leo just imagining things? He had always felt a strong connection to Marcus, but this new feeling was deeper, more personal. It wasn't just about scoring goals together. It was about something that tugged at his heart in a completely new way. Leo walked on, wondering what this new feeling meant for their friendship and what adventures it might lead them to next. By the time Leo reached his front door, the setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, matching the warm, fuzzy feeling in his heart. He still didn't have all the answers to his new questions about Marcus, but he knew one thing for sure. He wanted to find them. This new layer to their friendship, this budding curiosity, felt like a secret treasure he was eager to uncover. He thought about their next soccer practice. Usually, it was just another Saturday, another chance to play the game they loved. But now it would be more. It would be a chance to watch Marcus, to listen more closely to his jokes, to see if that special look appeared again. Leo wondered if he could find a way to make Marcus smile that gentle, meaningful smile once more. He wanted to see if the spark he felt was something Marcus felt too. Leo smiled to himself. The idea of exploring this new part of their friendship felt exciting, like the start of a brand new adventure. Their bond was already strong, like the roots of a big, old tree. But now, it felt like new leaves were starting to sprout, reaching for the sun. It wasn't scary, this unknown feeling. It was wonderful. He couldn't wait for next Saturday. He couldn't wait to run on the field with Marcus, to pass the ball, to laugh at his jokes, and to see what else he might discover about his best friend. The soccer field, the locker room, even just walking home. Everything felt charged with a new kind of magic. Leo was ready. He was ready to see where this path, this new, shiny thread in their friendship would lead them.